Welcome to Pink Cake Princess. I'm Andrea and I'm going to show you how to make high tea cupcakes. This is the miniature tea and roses cupcake. It is part of a set. You can check out all the other cupcakes at the end of this video with the clickable links. And if you place them all together on a small ice cake, you'll have an extra special cake. There's also a really cute gravity defying teapot. You can mix it up and use that one instead, and it'd be a great Mother's Day present as well. I'm going to start out by using a ball of white fondant, rolled it up into a sausage shape and tapered one end, and then just gradually shaping it into a vase shape. Pulling up a small ball of white fondant and just creating a small cylinder to sit on top. I'm going to attach it with a little bit of water, and I'm going to create an indent or a hole at the top of the vase for the flowers to go in. I'm using the bottom of my brush to do that. Now I'm using a toothpick just to join the top part to the bottom of the vase, or the top portion to the larger portion of the vase, just gently pressing in to get rid of the seam and the join, and shaping my vase again to keep its nice shape. Now I've made some ribbon roses just by rolling out a sausage shape and then just using my fingers to create some stretches into the fondant and then rolling it up into a rose shape. I'm going to create at least a dozen of these roses in a variety of colours. Next I'm going to be rolling out some green fondant and just using my palette knife just to cut some random strips with pointy ends to create the foliage in the flower bouquet. Using a toothpick to attach a rose, and then using my water or edible glue to start attaching the green foliage, making sure that the pointy bits are showing at the top, and then attaching the other roses around in random colours. If you find that the roses don't stick straight away, just wait for the fondant to become a little bit tacky with the water and then it should stick better. Otherwise just use edible glue. Okay, now I'm just going to bulk up my bouquet at the bottom by attaching a strip of green fondant around the base. And then attaching more roses around. Randomly adding the pointy foliage in between the roses. rolling out a small disc of green fondant and using my pointy crafts knife to cut out triangle bits from the edges, smoothing the ends over, and then attaching that to the base for my bouquet to create more foliage at the bottom. Then attaching it into my vase. Now I'm using some antique gold edible paint. I'm going to paint some details onto the vase. Don't forget to click the like below if you like this tutorial, and click add to favourites for future reference if you want to save this tutorial and come back to it later. Now onto my teapot, I'm balling up a small ball of white fondant and I'm using a 2 cm circle cutter with the blunter end of it to create an indent at the top. Now rolling out some white fondant, tapering in one end and then cutting it at an angle on both ends to create a spout. Using a toothpick just to create a little hole at the top of the spout and attaching it to the teapot. Rolling out a strip of fondant to create the handle and attaching it at the top and flipping it over and attaching it at the bottom. Balling out a tiny little ball of fondant to place on top to finish off the lid. And cutting out a 2 cm disc of white fondant and attaching it to the base of my teapot. Now creating the cup. Using a thick straw about 1 cm across, I'm going to cut out a cup and using the bottom of my brush to create the hole in the cup. My 2 cm circle cutter again to cut out the saucer for the cup. Rolling out a little strip of white fondant to create the handle and attaching it to the cup. Then using a tiny little bit of brown fondant, balling it up and then squashing it into the cup to create the tea. Again using my edible antique gold to paint a few details onto the cup at the top and around the side of the saucer. And then also painting my teapot. Using a little bit more brown fondant just to create a little bit of tea, pouring out of the teapot into the teacup and attaching it to the teacup with a little bit of water. Now onto my cupcake, I'm rolling out some blue fondant icing and cutting it out with a circle cutter and smoothing it on top of my cupcake. Now just assembling it onto the cupcake, I'm going to attach it with a little bit of water. And that's it. That's my roses and tea cupcake. Hope you guys get a chance to check out all the other cupcakes in this set, including the gravity-defying teapot as well. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to share on your social medias and click the subscribe button if you want to see more free tutorials from my channel. And here are all the other cupcake tutorials in this set. Click on a cupcake for a tutorial. Bye for now, you guys take care.